Hey, welcome back, guys. This is Bryson Fowler of Fowler Roof and Construction. This is Boss Talks on the Rooftop. Now, we're getting back into the winter months. It's December, so it's getting a little cold on the rooftop, so we're going to take it back to the studio. Welcome, guys. We're in the studio. I got the world famous, most talented Black Ceasar with me.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hey,
Appreciate
man,
it.
what's good, man?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming through. Hey, now, this man is really talented, so I'm gonna pick his brain. I'm gonna put him on the spot. Like, he has poetry galore. I get a lot of my game from him, so I'm gonna put him on the spot and just ask him a lot about, like, you know, what got you into, like, really being as deep as you are for your poetry and just really going into your creative space that you're in now.
Man, honestly, it's crazy because poetry, I've always been I've always been somewhat of a writer. I've always been, my grandma said I had the gift of gab, so I've always been able to connect people and just naturally have people gravitate to me. But poetry found me, really, I would say, whenever I was like in middle school, you know, I would always write letters for, like, you know, like girls and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
I never took it seriously, but the things I was writing had some, you know, had some substance, you know,
Right.
to be so young. And then when I played college football, kind of fell off, you know, a little bit because, you know, football became a business. When I graduated, I found myself in a very deep depression. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't really know how to express my emotions. I didn't know what outlet to do, so I just started writing. I wrote every day for like a year. You know what I mean? I
Right.
wrote every day, and then eventually my cousin ended up passing away. So
Wow.
I went from writing to, you know, you'd always tell me to share my work. So then I just kind of stepped out and started sharing it, and it was something that people felt like they wanted to hear more of. So I just constantly developed, you know.
So,
Yeah.
so how do you gain so much of your inspiration? Like, what resonates most with you whenever you're into your process?
Really, my inspiration, man, it's the fact that poetry is all encompassing. You know, you can write poetry about anything, you know, and I like the fact that I'm a young black man that is able to share his emotions, you know, in deep detail and to just share, you know, and just share this where I'm at, share our story and have it be something that people need to hear, you know. I think that's my biggest inspiration, and two is just not failing, you know, like not being afraid to fail, taking a chance on myself.
Right.
That's been my biggest key, I would say, just always betting on myself, always knowing it's like regardless of whatever else is gonna happen, like I put my best foot forward. You know?
Right.
So, yeah.
So in a space, right? Because I write, but it's really me writing like notes, not to forget things and go into a space like I forget everything that I would be trying to create. How do you stay? Because you do what, stand up, right?
Oh, well, I do spoken word.
Spoken word.
Yeah,
See,
so I host shows and stuff, yeah.
forgive me.
It's
You
all
know
right.
what I'm saying? Forgive me. Like I don't know that lane, so if I mispronounce something, forgive me on
No,
that.
for sure.
You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? So when you do spoken word, like, how do you stay in that space and being able to recollect everything that you wrote down?
Man, it's practice.
Yeah.
It's like anything. I was fortunate to play college football, and so it just goes back to practice. High school, just like anything, it don't matter if you play tennis, it don't matter, you know, if you own a construction company, it don't matter what you do, it's something that you have to practice at daily, you know. So I'm outside, you know, screaming my poem into a tree for hours, you know. I'm in the mirror, you know, just repeating it, you know. I'm in the car repeating my poem. I spit my poems to my phone and I listen to myself.
Right.
So it literally becomes a part of me. So it's really something whenever I get on stage, it's not anything that I have to, that has to just, okay, you know, I'm nervous. No, this has been rehearsed. I've been living this constantly.
Right.
Yeah, so it just comes with walking in your purpose and knowing, you know, just knowing your power, you know, knowing the power in your work, for sure.
See, I like what you said there, like knowing your purpose. Like, when you know your purpose, you can just stand in it and it aligns with whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
And so, how did you come about knowing that this is my purpose?
Me personally, I'm a biblical individual, you know, and so I'm very tapped in just with God, just with understanding His message, understanding like what He has for me.
Right.
And so I'm very intentional just with my prayer. I'm very intentional just with the moves I make. And so whenever I was beginning, you know, to go through this depression, I was asking God to just show me what you want me to do, and He told me to write. And then, you know, he's constantly like, I talk to him daily, you know, morning, noon, and night, whenever I walk, anytime I talk to him daily, it's like, I just listen, you know, like I said, and it's funny, they tell him, you know, they say, tell him what you got planned, you know, what I'm saying? And
Right.
it was funny, you know, because I just wanted to get out there and share a few poems, you know what I mean? Just to kind of just lift my spirits, and then it turned into something I could have never even imagined, you know,
Right.
people receiving me how they receive me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're well received, brother. Like, I heard a few of your poems, I've heard a few of your work, and like, bro, it resonates a little bit with me.
Thank you.
I can really like if anyone has not heard you, you got something for them. Like, and that's one of the things that I like about you. Is like, I've never heard your work, and then like when I got introduced to it, I was like, damn, I know this man, me and this brother been kicking for years.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got something for everybody, and how it resonates with every individual. Like, I feel like whether woman or man, like everybody can relate and kind of take that ride with you that you're on the wave, and you're just trying to take them to somewhere that they can relate to you and actually get them out of where they're actually at, or you know what I'm saying, just help them go into a different space from where they are. So, first poem. Do you remember your first poem? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yes. It was a Black Boy Joy poem, and I was scared. I was shaking like a stripper in church.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna sing R&B because I was holding on to the mic so tight. But my legs were shaking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I remember practicing that poem. That even my first poem, I didn't read it off my phone. Like, I spit it from memory, and I remember just like being at home, like, man, you finna kill it with this. Just watching. I went inside there and like everybody clapped and everything. But I watched that video now, and I'm mortified.
Light years.
You know what I mean?
Light years ahead.
It's a complete 180. You know.
Yeah.
And it just shows, you know, like I said, just that growth. You
Yeah.
know, and that progression. That's something that I'm forever grateful for. And also my mentors, man. I've had really great mentors like Wayne Henry, Rage Almighty, Calvin J. Like some guys that have really poured into me, you know,
Right.
and have allowed me to flourish, you know, as in my own right, you know, because my mentors have really, they put me on, and then they open up a space to where it's like, now we're peers, you know what I mean? So it's like, now you're not, like, you're the big homie, but like, we have a mutual respect for my work and understand. So it's just been beautiful seeing that, seeing my progression, seeing the progression of the people around me, you know, as my poetry's grown, you know, the support, everything is, you know, like I said, I'm very grateful, it's very eye-opening.
That's amazing. Because like a lot of people don't understand, like, you know, whatever you go into, you got to go into a wise counsel. You know, so how did your mentors come about? Because I know for me, like, I had to search them out, and then when I was searching, I couldn't find nobody.
Yeah.
But when I stopped looking, they just they fell in my life.
That's how it be.
So it was just like, yo, I know the importance, and I know how hard it is to find mentors. So what was yours? Like, how they just appear for you?
Man, honestly, I would go to a spot called Black Canvas, and I'd always see these three main dudes, just like big time, kind of larger than life figures. And they come in, you know, it's poetry. Everybody's just like, yo, what's up, brother? You know, like, you can just tell that they just like very important. And so,
That dude.
you know, they that dude. So with me, I take it just like football. I'm like, man, that's the biggest, baddest dude in here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be getting reps with him. I got to be working out with him after practice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got to be spitting him my stuff so he can hear me. And I approached my mentor, Calvin, initially, and I was like, yo, I want you to be my, you know, this and that.
Right.
And he was like, man, you're a mommy, a lot of myself. And I started poetry, and I was terrible. That's one of the first things he said to me, and I was like, so I'm like, what the heck are you know? But like, he set that precedent, and we wrote every Wednesday for almost 6 months, 8 months. Every Wednesday we'd meet for hours. We spit what we be working on that week. I share him. We write something on the spot, share that, come back next week with something new. And like, I just grew so much in that phase and those intimate moments that we were able to have, because I could just. And I mean, you don't have to say no homo, but I was able to be vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, with my mentor, and just like say, this is my work, this is what I've been working on, what do you think?
Right.
You know, and it really helped me a lot, just having an unbiased listening ear whenever it comes to poetry, because you might, just like rappers, anybody, you might, cookers, if you you know what I mean, whatever, you might think your shit slap,
right.
But then it might not be like that, you know what I'm saying? It might not be like that to everybody else.
Let's pass the audience test real quick.
You know, So like, that was a big part of it, just being able to see who is thriving in it, and then just showing them I was persistent and willing to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, now that's commitment right there. Mm-hmm. Like, then you're consistent with it. And so a lot of people, they miss that part of the game. It's like, yo, we're doing this for a week.
Yeah.
You say you did it for a year? and probably still doing it. So it's like, you know, that's staying consistent to a frequency, and that's the commitment of it. And like that's like a huge problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, because they feel like, hey, we've been doing this for like 24 hours, we ain't rich yet.
We're not up yet.
We ain't up yet. But you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, like, you gotta perfect your craft once you get brought to your craft.
Right.
You know, and then like that's why I was like really interested in like, how'd you know your purpose? You know, because like once you get brought to it, it's like, all right,
right.
it's here for you to walk it out, but what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, thanks.
So I see the book.
Sir.
So talk to me about the book, man, because like it's very rare that I get to sit down with authors and like, you know, really get to pick their brain and like, hey, you know, tell me about your book, because I'm a voracious reader. If I had never told you, but I'm a voracious reader, so you got it. I might steal that from you. So you got to tell me about the book, man. We got to share that.
Man, so this is my debut book of poetry. It's called Lend Me Your Ears, and I call it my quarantine book. You know, I wrote it during the pandemic whenever we first had to go into isolation.
Right.
And just like everybody else, a lot of Americans, I found myself once again in that depression, you know, and just not being able to see people. You know, it's been isolated, having, you know, everything is virtual.
Right.
And so I just began to just write, and I went back through my old poems, and I just wrote. I took that year and just poured my heart into something. You know, and I was very fortunate, and I was just very, very pleased, you know, with the result. I have 75 poems in it.
Oh, wow.
It's a range of 8 topics. You know, I call it my conceptual overview. You know what I mean? And so all the poems are at random. It takes you on a roller coaster. You know, everywhere from love to politics to God to, you know, to the upbringing to the dark side of families. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, you know, that trauma that we have to face sometimes.
Right.
You know, that kind of goes up on the road in Black household and things of that sort.
True.
So really, just tapping, you know, deeper into that and just showing the people my view, like the view of the world from a young intellectual Black man. And like I said, I'm just very grateful how people have received it.
Right.
You know, like definitely, like I said, but this is my baby. I'm currently in the works of my second one, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just grateful for the support and just people really buying into it. I also have an audiobook as well. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. So, you know, you can get it. It's called, once again, Lend Me Your Ears.
Lend me your ears.
Yeah.
So lend me your ears. We lend you our ears. We're gonna be happy. We're gonna be sad. We're gonna cry. We're gonna feel like we're gonna take over the world. Yeah. Like it's like, tell me, because like I'm the type of person that I like my dessert first. So tell me what the book is. Tell me where I need to go, and then I'm gonna find my pathway through all of it.
So like I said, so this is a book of poetry, you know, and it is laid out. Essentially, it's a walk through my mind, you know, just showing you just the various ways of how I just digest society, or how I regurgitate society. I would say in this way, since I need y'all to leave me your ears, you know. Like I said, but just with this book, man, I've never been one to actually sit down and just write, you know. Like I've always I'll jot or I'll kind of spit my stuff into my phone, but like, you know, just having to force yourself to write can be kind of challenging with writer's block and everything. So I was able to really challenge myself and not only be a performance, you know, performance poet, but literally, you know, having to be an author. Like people who are readers who are digesting this, are they going to really be able to understand it and enjoy it?
Right.
And so this is something where I can push myself.
Right.
Know? And like I said, I put the book out. I self-published it through Amazon, so you can get the actual hardcover on Amazon. I always have a couple in my car. You know, I always keep a couple in my car just in case I come across somebody who's an avid reader, or somebody who just.
So I can't take this one.
Oh yeah, no, you can get this for $25.99.96.
I'm gonna give it to you too.
I got you, man.
But yeah, so I'm really inspired by just seeing how you're going about publishing your own works. Yeah. You know, you're self-made, and that's really what Boss Talks on the Rooftop is about. You know what I'm saying? Like you're lane and you're just ripping it up, and you're like really pouring into the other creatives that don't see. Because like you said, like going into the pandemic, you were isolated kind of, right? But then like God will put you in a place where you'll be isolated from the world, but it's your preparation time. And so for you to come out with like 75 poems, a finished book of work, and then you got all the back office set up to where it's all coming to you, man. Like that right there speaks volumes on what you did with your time. You know? And so that's one of those things like I admire that. So, you know, I'm seeing a year's time, what can you do? Right?
If you're consistent, like you said, consistency and being persistent, you know, in the pursuit of your goal, in the pursuit of what you know that God has for you. I always talk about preparation, you know, and I think that, you know, especially like I always go back to college football, but it's just the preparation, it's the thing that you have to, the small things you have to do. It transfers to real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Getting up early, making your bed, just doing, me and my manager, we read a book called Atomic Habits, you know, just so that we can continually be building ourselves. Because it's like, yeah, we doing good. Yeah, there's not a lot of cats, you know, where I'm from that have books and stuff like that, but that don't mean, you know, like we've arrived, you know.
Right.
It's like we still got eons, just like you still got eons to go. You know what I'm saying? You already took over Texas, now it's time for the nation, you know what I'm saying?
Time to go somewhere else.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, so that's what I'm on, man. It's just mastery. You know, making sure that I'm focused on one task at a time, not spreading myself too thin. So then it's like I'm mastering all these things, and eventually it's gonna come full circle. You know?
Right. And see, I'm of the mind to really put you on the spot, and like, can you spit something for us? Is that a line?
I can do something short for y'all. I got a couple bars for y'all. I can spit
Hey,
something.
come with me.
Oh man. Okay. Black privilege. My roots be royalty. Mansa Musa echoing in the distance, know a king when you see one. As gold and silk flow from these lips, I rapped affirmations in faith, spoke freedom to the masses, multiplying in faction as I've been tested with the task of Jehovah's disciples, call me a vessel. I'll say something like that. I'll say something like that.
Hey, the rest you gotta pay for.
Yeah, you gotta pay for
the rest you gotta pay
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
But yo, that like right there, you just took me up, and I was just like, yo, I gotta get more.
Yeah.
I gotta get more of that, because like yo, like the way you deliver that is powerful, and then like how you paint this picture of where we finna go.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like yo, you're inspiring, and like you know, I really am a fan of the art.
Thank you, brother.
So how can we find you?
Man, all social media platforms is Black Ceasar, Black CEASAR _. Okay, on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, Facebook is Chris Woods. You can find me, like I said, the book is available on all major platforms. If you see me anywhere, I will have some on me. Okay, but yeah, Black Ceasar. Once again, I go by the slogan, "Poetry Save Me." Man, make sure that y'all focused on uplifting yourselves and tap in deeper. In any lane that you're in, just tap in deeper into yourself, because your purpose is waiting for sure.
Appreciate you coming through, man. It's always a blessing.
Thank you.
Like, can you show me the book?
Hey man, I'll make sure and present you with your copy here. You know what I'm saying? Since I'll make sure and sign this for you.
All right.
We locked in.
Hey, lend me your ears. Please go and copy this. Show support. And I'm Bryson, Fowler of Fowler Construction and Roofing. This is Boss Talks on the Rooftop. This is Black Ceasar. Hey, remember, storms don't last, but your home should.
Let's get it.
Peace. 2 fingers.